Beauties, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Winifred, and in today's video we're going to be learning how to create the back part of a corset neatly with the loops and the yoke. And I'm also going to be teaching you how to fix an eyelet with a small eyelet applier, and I'm also going to be teaching you how to attach your Modesty panel neatly and achieve this neat result. If this is what you would like to learn, definitely keep on watching, and without too much talking, let's get straight to the honey of the tutorial. Let's go. I love you. Hey beauty, welcome to my channel. So for this tutorial, I'm using an already cut out pattern that I've cut out earlier. If you don't know how to cut out the pattern, that is why you need to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out anytime I upload a new tutorial, because you don't want to miss all the juicy tutorials that are coming on, because I'm also going to be sharing different techniques of making different types of corsets on here on this channel, and you don't want to miss out on that. So I've gone ahead to use my pattern to cut out on my fabric. I also cut out the lining for each of the back panel. All right, so what I'm going to be doing now is that, see that the back part is split into two. It is not on one piece, so you're just going to join it together like so that everything can be on one piece. This part is really long like this because it is a blouse. All right, it is not a gown, it is a blouse. So once that is done, I'm going to set aside one part of the back, the part that you want your Modesty panel to be on. Just set it aside and work on the other part. So this is the lining. I'm going to go ahead to stitch the lining together also, just as I've done to the main fabric, like so. So once that is done, I have cut out the yoke with my pattern for the back. So after stitching the lining like that, I'm going to pick my yoke. I've stitched the lining. I'm going to pick my yoke and attach the yoke to the main fabric of one side of the back. So it's starting from the dart line. So I'm just pinning it up, and then I'm just going to stitch my yoke like that. All right, so I'm just going to stitch my yoke. So I've gone ahead to stitch my yoke now. So the next thing for me to do is to iron it out. So I'm going to iron everything out clean and nice, and over and top stitch on it, which I've done right here. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to create boning channels. So I just cut out a long piece of 1.5 inch wide and the length of the fabric that I'm working with, and then I'm going to create my bone channels. So I'm marking out the midpoint of that also, and I'm just going to draw a straight line. So one bone channel will be at the joining part, and another bone channel will be at that side. I don't want too many bone channels on this particular work because the client doesn't want that. So once you've created your bone channels, you're going to measure what you have. Whatever you have, you deduct 1 inch from that. So that is 1/2 inch at the upper part and 1/2 inch at the down part. The boning is not going to get to the top and the down part because you want to leave space for stitching allowance. So I've cut out my boning and I'm securing the edges with a paper tape. This is necessary because you don't want the bone to be, to be poking your client's body or your own body by the time you wear it. So I've inserted my bone now. I'm using a very strong bone, not a sewable one, the normal hard bone. That is what I'm using. So after that, I'm going to insert my bone. I've just measured the other side. I think I have about 16 inches. I'm going to cut out 15 inches, so 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the down part for seam allowance. Your bone is not meant to get to the top and the down. It's not a sewable boning, so you have to leave space for stitching allowance. So I'm also going to secure that with my paper tape and just insert it into my bone case that I've created earlier. So by the time you feel it, I'm feeling it, there is 1/2 inch space at the top and there's also 1/2 inch space at the down part. So once this is done, I'm going to take it to my ironing board and I am going to press this to a very smooth finish. So I've gone ahead to press it, and this is how neat and clean it looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place it on top of the right side. I have already moved my yoke inside, and then I am going to stitch it all the way around. Just that on one side I'm going to be leaving a little space for me to turn it out inside out. All right, so I'm going to leave a little space for me to turn it inside out. So that is what I've done here. I've sewn everything all around with 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I left a little space for me to turn it out, and that is where I'm turning it from right now. So you are going to turn it out very well. You can use your scissors as I am doing to bring out all the edges so that everything can be clean and flat. And once that is done, you close the end that you opened with a matching thread. All right, and then you are going to go ahead and give it a very good press. So once that is done, we are working on the other side. That is the side that is going to be having the Modesty panel. So this side I've already stitched it also, and I've top stitched on it, and I've also ironed it. So the next thing I'm doing is to attach my yoke. So I'm just going to sew my yoke in with 1/2 inch allowance, and then I am going to take my lining also. I'm just trying to show you how the yoke will be. So the yoke will be, we have some kind of a button or a hook at the back. So now for the back, this is where the Modesty panel is going to be sitting. You are just going to measure the length of what you have at that side of the back. Whatever length that you have, you are going to deduct about 2 inches from it, from the length, and that will be the length of your Modesty panel. And then for the width of the Modesty panel, the space between the two sides of the back is 3 inches. So you are just going to place it on side by side like this and leave that space of 3 inches. And once that is done, you are going to measure from one dart edge to the other dart edge, and that will be the width of your Modesty panel. So I'm cutting out the length and width of my Modesty panel now, and what I'm going to do is to stitch it on both sides. As you can see, my hand go from on the top and on the down part, just stitch it like that. Once that is done, I am going to turn it inside out, and I am going to give it a very good press so that everything can lay down flat and clean. And once that is done, I'm going to take my lining, and I am going to look for the midpoint of that lining part, and I'm also going to look for the midpoint of my Modesty panel. So what I'm going to do is to centralize my Modesty panel on the lining part, on one side of the lining. All right, so I'm just centralizing my Modesty panel, and then I'll place the other small piece of the lining on top of it like this, and then I am going to sew. If you can get a hang of this, it is really simple. It's not so difficult. So I'm trying to pin it down so that everything can lay down flat for me, and then I am going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch it all the way down. So once you are done stitching, you are going to, you can top stitch on it if you want towards the small side or the large side, anywhere that you want. Just top stitch on it and make sure that everything is flat and clean. Then I am also going to create my bone channels just as I've created for the other side, and also attach my bones. And so once that is done, I'm going to fold my Modesty panel inside like this and hold it down with a pin, and then I'm going to place it on the right side of the fabric, the main fabric, right side facing right side, and then I'm going to stitch all the way around and leave a space for me to turn it out, just as I have done for the other part of the dress. And this is how neat and clean it is looking. So this is looking so nice. And this is the other side that we did earlier, placing it on the Modesty panel. This is how it's going to be looking. See how clean and neat it looks. Oh my god. So if you've gotten to this point and you are enjoying it, please give this tutorial a like. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if it was helpful. So what I'm doing is that from the edge, I'm just marking out about 1 inch from the edge, and then from that point I am also going to mark out the places that I want my loop to be in. So from the top, I'm just marking out 2 inches interval from the top from the upper part to the next one, 2 inches interval. That is where I'm going to be placing my loops. And then from the first line, I'm marking out about another 1 inch. So inside that 1 inch where the loop is, as in after the first 1 inch that I'll measure, we measured out the length of where we want our loops to be. Then we measured another 1 inch. So on that inside of that place, that's where our loop is going to be. We are also going to be inserting boning to the side that we measured out 1 inch, but we are not going to insert it until after we have created our loops, so that it can be easy for us. So I'm just going to plug in my soldering iron, and then I am going to continue to work on the other part of the corset. So I'm using a small plier, a small eyelet plier, to create these loops, and it's meant to have a punching hole, but the punching hole is not effective. This my particular fabric is too thick for it. That is why I'm using my soldering iron. So my soldering iron is hot now, so I'm just using it to create holes on the body of the clothes. As you can see, my hole is not so big, so when you are doing yours, don't make your hole so big, but so that by the time you place your eyelet on it, it's going to work out. I didn't know my camera was not showing how I place my eyelet on it, so let me quickly explain. Let's say that I've created this hole with my soldering iron. I'm just going to place my eyelet on it and take my plier. So if you are holding your plier like this, it's going to be wrong. The part that has an engine at the top, that's the upper part of the plier. Make sure that this part of the plier is entering the hole and the other part of the back is set very well, and then you are going to press it very well, and this is how it's going to look like. So it's going to give you a very clean finish, and that is what I've used to create all the other parts of these eyelets. So once that is done, I've placed my bones inside the hole that we created. That first 1 inch that we created, I placed my bone on it, and then I cut out about 1 inch of this same fabric and I sewed it into a rope to create what you are seeing right now. You can also sew your bias strip to create the hole for your rope for your eyelet, and that was how we created this beautiful piece. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comment section down below. Till I see you in another tutorial, I want you to know that I love you and I care. Bye.